Well, first of all, may I explain what I did for my book that you mentioned,
Yeah,
in Islam?
of course.
Because it's very closely connected. It was published in 2017, and for almost a year, I went to different mosques in Germany every Friday in different cities to record Friday prayers. So I visited over the course of a year almost 50 mosques, 48, and I had these Friday sermons translated from Arabic, Turkish, Hindi, Bosnian, to German. And all I did was basically publish these translations of Friday prayers in this book. It was not something that I wrote, it was just 90% a translation of these Friday sermons. And almost all of them were horrible. And I also went to mosques that were frequently visited by German politicians to show how they do interfaith, cultural understanding projects and that kind of thing. So they had pictures of those politicians inside these mosques together with the imams, and very nice pictures. But when you went there on Friday sermons, they told terrible things like, you are not allowed to have friends in this country, who said that women are allowed to work. If your child, who is a girl, grows up in this country, it shall not learn the language, and if it does, you shall beat the child. Horrible things. And like
Muslim Brotherhood.
But because I didn't specifically went to mosques that were known for being extremist,
right.
But like general mosques that you can see publicly, they were not hidden, they were not sinister in any way. So I was very surprised to find that kind of speech inside these normal mosques. What followed was, I mean, it became really bestseller. It was #1 best-selling book in Germany for 10 weeks. We sold 200,000 copies, which is a lot. I never imagined that normal people would be interested in reading Muslim sermons. But it caused a major upheaval because of very, very tight network of very conservative, extremist journalists, politicians who joined in accusing me of being racist, of trying to divide people, and they even sparked via Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, fake news about my background, my work. There were claims that there were translation errors in the book that were never proven, but they just spread it via Facebook and so on. So people believed it in the end, yeah? I was invited to a talk show, and the talk show host, he said, like, it's a very controversial book because of the translation errors inside the book. I said, no, there's no translation error to that point. And I even sued some of the journalists who mentioned that in articles, and they had to remove it. But still, it's something, if you ask about the book, because people still remember it, they would say, well, it's the book with the translation errors, right? So this is really the problem. And like, what I didn't see before was this dangerous network of people on different levels of public society. And I, over the course of time, I understood how closely connected they are. There are journalists here, there are some politicians there, and they play with each other. Yeah, there's a journalist, there's a politician, he wants to accuse someone who is a liberal Muslim or speaks out against problems. And of course he knows then the journalist who would publish that kind of thing, that journalist would not publish an interview with a liberal Muslim. No, he would just publish the interview with the very conservative representative of Muslim community in Germany. And there are, like you also said about Tawakkul Karman, there are these women out there. Yeah, it's very hard to accuse a woman who seems to be very liberal and very open-minded, but indeed stands for a very, very conservative approach towards religion and Islam. That makes it very, very difficult. So in my case, what I see, social media, it's part of the problem, but it's not the only problem, because you have people who know how to play with these things. As a journalist, I look at things with a very specific perspective, probably. What worries me a lot is that when it comes to media and journalism, no one questions the power of these social media giants any longer. I mean, we're all producing videos and content for free for them to put it on their platforms. This is something I sometimes try to discuss with my bosses or with colleagues about this, because I find it bizarre, because we are making them even stronger. And we're working we are providing the content for their platforms and drag people into this parallel universe. So I find that something, well, there is no solution to it, because people say, well, if we don't do it, we just leave this entire universe to fake news, bots and whatever. But I don't think that the solution is to shoot in videos from ARD or ZDF or BBC as many as you can to feed those people out there, or to provide them even with the power that they in the end can control what is being watched and what not. So but this is something, like I said, there's no solution to it so far. The solution would be probably, when it comes to countries, that media corporations within those countries, they form an alliance, that they work together and provide own platforms, but not a single TV channel or one single newspaper can do that. That would mean that all media corporations would have to work together. Then probably, or maybe they can have the power to provide something that is attractive enough to get people moved from Facebook to their own platforms. But as far as Germany is concerned, I don't see that. They are not even trying to establish an alternative model for people who are using social media. No, we are, like I said, we're producing videos for free for those platforms, and we're even proud of it. I don't see that there's any reason to be proud. So, but it's something, it's a lose-lose situation, really.